Should you lift? Should you run? Which one is better? What if I told you that you could lift and run within a program and maximize building muscle, building strength, improving your cardiovascular system, and overall improve your health? Well, that's exactly what we're going to go through today. I'm going to show you how you can structure your program to incorporate both lifting and running into your program to not only maximize your physique benefits, your strength adaptations, improve your cardiovascular system, but overall just to improve your overall health. Now, before we hop into it, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jordan, and I post weekly fitness content to help you get in the best shape of your life. I'm currently doing a full bulking series where I'm posting weekly videos to show you how you can effectively build muscle, build strength, while minimizing body fat gain, and yes, also incorporating running into your program during a bulk. So if you're interested in content like that, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the content that I'm posting each week. And if you find anything helpful in this video, hit that thumbs up button for me. So we're gonna go over some basic guidelines on what you should do to incorporate lifting and running into your program. Now, this can look very different for different kinds of people and different goals. And that's what I'm gonna give you is some tools on how to tweak things to fit your specific goals and your specific needs. Because some people are gonna lift more, some people are gonna run more, and some people are gonna have an equal balance, and that's perfectly fine. Let's start off with strength training. What are some basic principles and some guidelines that you could do for incorporating strength training into your program? The first guideline that I would follow is I would structure a lifting program to where you're minimum hitting everything once a week. By hitting every muscle group at least once a week, you're gonna be able to get enough volume, sets, and reps every week to stimulate new muscle growth. I would also prioritize your strength training around progressive overload, especially towards the beginning half of the workouts. So you're gonna pick exercises like deadlifts, squats, bench press, overhead press, rows, pull-ups, lunges, these big movements that you can really focus on adding weight from week to week, and that's gonna create the stimulus that you need to build muscle mass. Now, as your workout progresses, I would start to incorporate more isolation-based exercises, so things like curls, lateral raises, leg extensions, lat pull-downs, these type of movements that are gonna specifically target to the specific muscle group that you're trying to train, and this is where you can start to accrue a lot of volume and incorporate intensity techniques like drop sets, rest pause sets, supersets, and all these types of things that are also going to force a stimulus on your muscle to grow. For hitting everything once a week, these are a couple examples of how you could structure your training throughout the week. You could start off on one day by doing a full push day. This is going to be the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps. You could start off another day by doing a back and biceps workout, which is going to be a pull workout. And then your third strength training day could be a leg workout where you're hitting the entire lower body. This is also a day where you can incorporate some core and some ab work into your training. Now, say you're somebody that is looking to maximize muscle growth, and that is really going to be your primary goal. What I would do is I would structure more strength training in your program and less cardio. This is a good example of where if your goal is to build more muscle, you may want to increase your frequency to 2 times a week on every single muscle group. So instead of hitting your chest, your back, your legs, your arms once a week, you're going to hit everything twice a week. If you're looking to strength train 5 days a week, here's an example of what you could do. You can start your first day off with a full push day, which is going to be your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. Next day could be a pull day, which is going to be your back and your biceps. The third day is going to be a lower body day. You're going to come back on that 4th strength training day to hit a full upper body day. And then to hit your legs twice a week, you're going to hit a full lower body day on that 5th day. This is a great example of how you can all your muscle groups twice a week to get a lot more volume, a lot more sets, a lot more reps, which is going to lead to more muscle growth down the road. So now that we've talked about strength training, let's talk about running. Incorporating running into your training is something that typically most people don't think of when they're going to a bulk or when they're trying to build muscle mass. But by having a more efficient cardiovascular system, you're going to be able to deliver more blood to your working muscles. You're going to be able to stick to rest times better. You're going to have more efficient of a cardiovascular system. And that is literally going to lead to more muscle mass. If you can efficiently get blood to those working muscles, it's going to create more blood flow and more pump. Also, like I said, if you're hitting a really heavy leg day and you have an inefficient cardiovascular system and you're taking 4 or 5 minutes in between sets, that's not enough intensity and it's not going to cause enough muscle breakdown to actually build new muscle tissue. So having a more efficient cardiovascular system is something that is huge. It can literally help you build more muscle. And that's exactly where running comes into play. Now, just like with strength training, depending on your personal goal, you may run a little bit more, you may run a little bit less. With lifting, you may lift a little bit more, you may lift a little bit less. Take whatever your specific goal is, and this can also change from time to time, where you might be going through phases where you're focused on lifting and building muscle more, and you might be going through phases where you're trying to run more. Say maybe you're trying to train for a 5K, 10K, half marathon, or a full marathon. That's perfectly fine, and that's really the beauty of training, is we can go through these different phases where we're having different focuses. That way it never gets boring or stale. So with your running, what I would recommend, that was at least run twice a week. This is the lower part of the threshold where you're going to be able to see the benefits from running and actually become a better runner over time. Now, if you're only running twice a week, here's what I would do, is I would structure one of those workouts on a lower intensity and one of those workouts on more of a higher intensity run. That lower intensity run is going to be more of a distance run, and it's going to be runs low and slow heart rates. So what I would recommend is using the Maffetone method. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a 180 minus your age, and this is going to give you a number. And this number is going to be specific to you on what your max aerobic heart rate is going to be. So when you go out for your run, your goal is to run at a pace that is going to keep that heart rate at or below that number. And this might be harder than you think, and you might have to start off very slow, but that's perfectly fine, because what that's going to do is that's going to help you build an aerobic base. And over time, you're going to start to slowly creep up that pace while still maintaining that low heart rate. And it's a perfect thing to build off of when you start to incorporate more higher intensity runs or more volume throughout your running. The other day of the week is going to be more of a higher intensity run. Now, this could be things where you're doing intervals. This could be things where you're doing 400, 800, 1200 meter repeats on a track. This can be where you're going for a shorter distance run, but you're trying to pace it a little bit faster and get your legs used to turning over faster. By doing both that low intensity and that high intensity run, you're really going to get the most benefit out of running, and you're going to become a better runner over time. Now, say that you want to run a little bit more. What I would follow is the 80-20 rule. So if you're looking to run 3, 4, 5 days out of the week, 80% of your runs should be done at that lower intensity and really keep your heart rate below that max aerobic heart rate. The other 20% of the runs should be done at that higher intensity. And like I said, this could be things like fartlek intervals. This can be things where you're doing tempo runs, where you're holding specific paces and really practicing running at faster paces to help your legs to turn over faster, get your body used to running at those faster paces and those higher heart rates. Or this could also be things like a repeat workout, where you're going to a track, you're running 400 meter repeats, 800 meter repeats, 1200s, or even mile repeats. Just doing a higher intensity runs is going to help you improve your VO2 max. It's really going to help you become a better runner over time. But like I said, there should only be 20% of the time that we're actually doing that, because it's hard to recover from. And if you're doing too much of it, eventually you're going to get injured and you're not going to be able to continue to run. So follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of those runs, low and slow. They should almost be boring to where you're keeping a nice heart rate and you can almost hold a conversation the entire time. The other 20 should be higher heart rates. So really, it's going to be up to you on what your specific goal is and what phase you are and what you really want to focus on. If you want to lift more, you're going to prioritize more lifting into your training, and you might be training all the muscle groups twice a week, where you're doing that 5-day strength training rotation, and maybe you're running 1 to 2 days throughout the week. Say that maybe you want to train for a race, or you want to train for a half marathon or a marathon, and you're running more. You still should incorporate strength training in your workouts, and I would at least hit everything once a week so that you're strength training on those 3 days, and then you're running anywhere from 4 to 5 days throughout the week. Just look at what your specific goals are and structure your program around program specificity. So if your goal is to build muscle, focus on strength training more, but still always do your cardio. And if your goal is to run a race or become a better runner, you're going to run more, but you should still always strength train. By combining both of these things into your program, you're going to see awesome body composition benefits. You're going to build muscle, build strength. You're going to help improve your cardiovascular system. You're going to build an aerobic base. You're going to improve your VO2, and overall just going to improve your health. So in my opinion, this is the most optimal way to train, by mixing conditioning and strength training and blending them into one program. And by doing so, you're really going to see a lot of great benefits from it. So that's my advice on how to mix running and lifting into your program. It's really going to depend on what your specific goals are. Now, if you have questions, let me know down in the comment section below. I'd be happy to help out any way that I can to give you some advice on how you can specifically structure your program. So if you have questions, let me know below. If you found anything helpful in this video, hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't done so already, like I said, I'm posting weekly content to help you get in the best shape of your life. So if you're interested in content like that, subscribe and you won't miss out on any of the content that I'm posting weekly. I'm gonna leave a couple other videos to go watch on the screen here next. Make sure you go check those out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.